Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum, and today I'm going to be doing a double reaction to Deep Purple, and this time we are going to be listening to two versions of the ever iconic Smoke on the Water. This song, everybody knows this song. It's a smaller percentage of the people who know this song, know this riff, that know who Deep Purple are, and if you had asked me 3 years ago, Sohum, where does the riff come from? Boom, 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 boom. Who wrote that riff? I would have almost definitely given you the wrong answer. And now in retrospect, after having gone down the Deep Purple rabbit hole in the way that I have and looked through their discography, and it's quite massive, I'm so shocked that they don't get spoken about more. Deep Purple, their fingerprints are all over the history of rock, hard rock, metal. They deserve more conversation about them. And today we're going to be showcasing their iconic Smoke on the Water. I'm just excited to check this out as always alongside you guys. But before we do, thank you, Graham, the Rhythmic, for making this donation request. Now, let's jump in. Let's enjoy what we already know. Every guitarist knows this one. Boom, 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 boom. Every guitarist has to know it. It's like a rite of passage. I don't remember the bass being this meaty though. I love how this riff, it's just, remember, easily memorable. It's just iconic, right? And at the same time, it's very sludgy. There's a bit of blues rock happening in all of this as well. And it's interesting that a song like this, a riff like this, is remembered through the ages. I wonder what makes this riff, this song, stand out in the way it does more than many of the other Deep Purple tracks that are out there. And one thing I can say is, I think as music from an artist becomes more and more complex, often it has a smaller and smaller audience who are able to appreciate the complexities or the nuances. I think oftentimes if you want to hit mainstream popularity, you kind of have to have these staple songs that are easily digestible. But there are so many amazing riffs from Deep Purple. Why Smoke on the Water? Why not something else? Let me know in the comments if you have a good answer for that.
Kids out the ground. When it all was over,
been a long time since I've heard this. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've heard this, and now hearing, again, like with all the context that I now have of Deep Purple, hearing Ian's performance here, it's almost like he's just speaking conversationally. He's not putting in too much work here to get this absolute iconic chorus out there. It's so interesting. How did this song, of amongst all of the other Deep Purple songs, like, I mean, I guess Highway Star and Burn and Child in Time are like huge tracks that others know about, but I think the most widespread has to be Smoke on the Water. So why Smoke on the Water? I guess it is just maybe it's like the simplest melodically and the riff. Section live, I can already imagine. Is that harmonica? I don't remember there being harmonica. Man, I'm thinking maybe one of the reasons why this song in particular is so iconic is because every section of the song is digestible. I think that's a term I throw around a lot, but what do I mean by that? I mean, every section is memorable. Every section is parsimonious enough that we can, at least the layman, the average listener, can quickly understand all of the different musical elements. Because let's imagine for the non-hardcore fan of Deep Purple, the non-hardcore music listener, when you hear music, it may not sound like music in the same way that it sounds to frequent music listeners, because there is a skill to listening to music and being able to understand all of the nuances and all of the components. What I can imagine, which this is like the first time I'm sort of having this thought, let me know what you guys think about it. What I can imagine is if you're an unseasoned music listener, simpler music is kind of what you can, it's like the only thing you can really get 100%. It's like you're kind of repeating level 2 and level 3 instead of like trying to do the hard thing, which is push into level 4. There's nothing wrong with level 2 or level 3, but as we know, Deep Purple, they can get far more complex than this, and that funnel of music listeners starts to shrink and shrink and shrink as the songs get more and more complex. So when you have a song like Smoke on the Water, where every single element at every moment in the song can be quickly globbed onto by the mind of the average music listener, it seems like it's ripe for, mass popularity, especially if the riffs, the melodies, any part of it are that memorable and enjoyable to listen to. That seems to be a bit of the formula. It's a trade-off, right? It's a bit understandable because obviously we all have different things to do in our lives. Not all of us are always listening to music always. So certain kinds of music are going to just get neglected by the masses. And for a long time, part of my thinking was that is ultimately tragic because they're not getting to experience all this great art. But there's so much great art out there. People can experience what they do and hopefully have fulfilling, enriching lives, even if it's not in music. For me, I love music. If people are out there who, and they do exist, I've met them, they don't like music, they don't even listen to music, but they express themselves through hiking, through painting, through sport. It can be really anything. I'm done with all of the weird gatekeeping that happens. I think we make music as accessible to people as possible, great. We make music inaccessible, not so great. You can make your music complex, please do, but then don't hold the consumer base's feet to the fire for not listening to everything that you're putting out. Again, these are like half-baked thoughts, so feel free to disagree with me in the comments below, but an absolutely iconic song, rather simple for Deep Purple standards, but certainly gets your foot in the door, and I'm glad we're getting to hear it today. Let's check out the Made in Japan version.
The song, which is also from the last album, tells the story of how we recorded it and what went wrong when we did it. Happened in Switzerland. The song's thing called Smoke on the Water.
Oh yeah, isn't there like a story behind this song too? Like something about like a flare gun being shot and setting a building on fire? I believe so. Maybe it was. I feel like Frank Zappa was involved. Did he shoot the flare gun? I think I have my story backwards. God, even the tone is a little bit more aggressive here. Oh. Immediate modification. Let's go, Ian. Yeah, he's gonna complexify it up now. Yeah, easily.
To me
See, now Ian is letting himself fly here. This is what I wanted in the song. There's a subtle difference too in the delivery of Smoke on the Water. Instead of singing Smoke on the one, there's a bit of that delay, which changes things up. But so far, this version definitely is my preferred. It's a little bit more chaotic, but also more intense from the side of all of the instruments. I mean, even at the beginning, that guitar tone more aggressive, even the bass tone meatier. Ian's performance less actually, how can I word this? I guess it felt a little bit more lazy and conversational the first time around. This time, definitely he's putting his best foot forward here. Richie getting to solo more, Ian getting to add more fills and rhythmic changes. It's all of it. All of it makes these live versions so much potentially more enjoyable. Like, I like listening to both, but the chaos that Deep Purple brings live is unmatched in the studio. Dude, John is insane. Wow.
Everything up
Wow.
here, please. And a bit more monitor if you got it. Yeah, can you have everything louder than everything else?
I mean, what an iconic song. And the thing is, I don't even care as much about the song as I do the people behind it. How is it possible that 5 members here who are all so virtuosic in what they do found each other and came together and performed at the levels that they did? It's insane to me. I mean, like, if you choose like any 2 of the 5 players here and started a band, you would have a world-class band. But the fact that all 5 members are so potent, of course you would have iconic songs like this. Of course you'd be able to run the gamut even with other artists as you bring them in, because your foundation was so strong. This, like, the floor of this band is already higher than the ceiling of other bands, to put it differently. I mean, is it the best 5-man rock lineup ever assembled? Ian, Roger, Richie, and who am I forgetting? John. I'm inclined to believe so. I am shocked because look, even if you let's just pick like Richie and John for example. They're both at the upper extremities of their instruments, and yet they're able to like match each other and kind of swap verticals, where Richie will start playing the licks and riffs that John is playing on his keyboard, or on his organ rather, and then John will play the riffs that Richie is playing on his guitar. So it's not only that they've like maxed out their individual instruments, they've also sort of by proxy maxed out the instruments of each other. I would say that kind of works especially well for Richie and John. I think it would work more so with Roger and Ian as well, because the rhythm section staying in lockstep with one another makes most sense. It would be harder to draw that same line between like John and Ian on the drums, for instance. But the thing is, they're always so in tune with each other that I feel like it's not even worth talking about the individual like dyads. It's all collective. How can you manage all of this in real time and then also compose banger songs after banger songs with all of these musical ideas floating about? Because it feels like in any given song you would have to like cap one of the instruments to say like, hey, this would probably overcomplicate the track. But they always find a way to give everybody the moment of spotlight, everybody a moment where they can really put their own creative input into the track. And obviously I don't see what has gone on behind the scenes with their production and composition. I can only kind of glean that from the actual live performances themselves. Everybody gets a chance to shine. And that's a unique element of Deep Purple, among all of the other unique elements. But this was super enjoyable today. Love listening to the classics like this. I hope you enjoyed as well. If you did and would like to request a reaction yourself, you can always do so by clicking the first link below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.